everyone, welcome to Ghost Prime Transformers Review. Today I'll be taking a look at yet another figure from the first wave of Earthrise figures, Deluxe Hoist. Yeah, so this little guy is out in stores now. He is the latest rendition of the G1 character Hoist. Now, the G1 character of Hoist started out as a toy originally in the Diaclone line. He was a Toyota Hilux. I guess it was a type of tow truck. So this tries to replicate that figure and does it quite well. There are a few things I don't like about it, such as some hollowness, some thin plastic I feel is a little thin. Some of the tolerances kind of didn't really work on mine. However, this is a decent figure, and you know we're going to get a Trailbreaker. It is inevitable we're going to get a Trailbreaker out of this guy, out of this mold. Overall, though, he has some pretty decent articulation. He looks fantastic on the shelf. I do believe he is a replacement for that Generations Hoist that came out fairly recently. It was a couple years ago. So without any further ado, let's get to the review. As always, let's start out with the packaging. Now, he does come in the standard Earthrise War for Cybertron Trilogy packaging. Name on the side here, Transformers, Earthrise logo, and he has the packaging art. Now, this packaging art actually came out very nicely. This just looks really, really great. This is a really decent rendition of this character. On the back, you have the product shots as usual. You have him in the robot mode, the truck mode, and it just shows how you could not only put this down, but you could connect it with the other pieces in the base mode pieces. So you could have, say, Ironworks piece connect there for reasons if you want to do that. Something you could do. So that's pretty cool that they're interchangeable, and I like that. Back, the bottom of the box is just the words and stuff. The other side is the Earthrise logo. Top has the Autobot symbol and War for Cybertron. And inside, you do actually get the insert with the red decoder. And here, this actually says, I don't see if you can get close and see it because you don't really need it. Looks like it says Junkion. So this would be the planet Junkion, or Junk, I guess, would be the planet. It would be really cool if you could take these and put them all together to make a large map. I think that would have been a really good use for this. As it is, they're just individual pieces. On the back, just cardboard. And also you get the instructions. The instructions are very standard for the Earthrise line, done in this nice kind of turquoise teal color. And goes over all the instructions on how to transform him into truck mode and everything you could do. And so here's part of what you could do with... There we get that focus. Part of what you could do with Ironworks, which you could make this kind of thing and connect. I'm not sure where you'd pull it because it looks like it'd be stationary. Maybe it's a battle station or something, but there it is. Now you can also get this piece in the packaging, and this is his gun. This actually fits right over his fist. His fist fits directly into that port right there, and it will completely cover the fist. Last but not least, you get the figure. Now, he's looking pretty good in his robot mode. He's got some good detailing behind him. He does have hollow legs in the back here, which I guess is expected due to transformation. He looks very, very nice. Get up a little closer here. We can see he has a very nice head sculpt. You know, you see his belly there, his chest. Now, he has all this damage painted on, which I don't think is necessary. This is the only figure in the first wave to actually have some damage, and you could actually see some paint on his arm right here too. I believe also, yeah, I think that's it. I thought there was some on the shins, but it's right here on the arms and on the belly. This just feels like they were going for that old look. Like, oh, well, the old G1 toy had a lot of paint chips on it, so we're going to put paint chips on there. It doesn't work, in my opinion. I would like to have seen this clean. But he does have the stripes. The stripes continue on the back. Nice orange plastic. Bright white. Nice Autobot logo. So overall, he looks really good in robot mode. Let me show you the gun. So the gun will slide in. The peg slides in directly over the hand like that. Kind of reminiscent of that G1 cannon look. So for some comparisons, here he is with the Generations one. As you see, the darker green is more like the G1 figure, and where this one is more of a, I don't know, pea green, maybe. It's kind of a small head. He actually didn't realize how big this guy actually looks. So he put him next to this one. So this one fits scale-wise much better with the rest of the line. Here he is with his Generation 1 self. Very good looking figure. As you can see, they're super close. Really nice. This actually takes a lot from the cartoon, of course. But it's really nice. I mean, I love these two together. These two together are very good looking. Very good looking together. They actually managed to match the colors quite nicely. I mean, they are almost spot on for colors. It is really nice that they did that. So to get into articulation with this guy, first let's remove this. Not that it impedes articulation, but just so we can see it a little better. He does have full wrist swivels, which are very tight. 360. His arm bends, elbow bends more than 90 degrees. This is due to transformation. He has a swivel at the upper arm. He has a shoulder swivel here and here, which can go 360 as long as you move the little wing. It is, now it's at an angle. This cannot be changed. This is at an angle, and that's the way it needs to be. This is the only thing you could change. So he does have a waist, but it is impeded a bit by this part here. It could, like if you take this piece kind of off here, you could get a full 360 on it. But due to transformation, you have to unpeg it. So it's really not quite 360, only about that. Legs all the way to the front for the kick, and all the way to the back. His hips do go out, slightly impeded by this. You'd have to move that out of the way. His knees. Now his knees are double hinged, which is interesting because it's not entirely necessary, I don't think, for transformation. Maybe a little bit just to get it in the peg. Just to get it to the peg in, but it's not super entirely necessary. That's something that they could have gotten away with just a one. But it is nice to see a really nice knee bend there. And of course, his head is on a ball joint, so you look inquisitive look either way, kind of down just a little bit, and up just a little bit, up a little bit more because of his on a little swivel piece there for transformation. Oh, and last but not least, ankle tilts, like all the rest of the Siege and Earthrise figures. So he's not bad. You could get some decent poses with this guy for sure. His knees aren't. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention. This is also full 360 at the upper thigh. It's really tight though, very very tight. But like I said, you can get some decent poses out of this guy. So on to transformation. So for the first thing you want to do for transformation is you want to take the arms and move them upward. I believe like that. I forget, maybe like this. You have to unpeg the back right here, and there's a little hinge right there. So you can move it out. Move this up a little bit. Take the head, push it in and around, and it snaps. So it has this plate right there. And then take the front piece, the whole front of the truck, move it up and out of the way like that. So what you have is these little pieces in here. I get that in focus. Now mine did have a problem with this piece coming in here at first. When I was trying to bend it all together, it did not want to go. So I will show you how that, so it goes like this. And that now tightens in. I had to do this a few times before that actually worked. So I don't know, your experience may vary. I have not seen it on any other reviews, but mine had a very hard time doing that. So what you want to do is you want to take the legs here, fold them over. There's little tabs. They go into the back here. Fold them onto themselves. Around. Find the tab onto themselves. Now, it's coming out. Now it won't even stay. So now what I do is there's two little pegs right there, and then there's two holes on the knee, if you can see that right there. And each one kind of goes in there. Push that in on either side. On the legs. That came out. There we go. And then you can move this piece back like that. So now you have the arms, these flaps right here, and the front. So what you want to do is you want to take this arm, angle it in such a way that it gets out of the way of here and here, and take this hinge for the shoulder, move it here, and this top of the arm needs to move out of the way of this area. So it kind of folds in like this. And then as you do that, I didn't get to do it right. To do that, put this, so let me see if I can get in here a little bit tighter just so you guys know what I'm doing. There's this little hook, and that hooks into the underside of right there, right? So I take it, push that in like that, and then there's another little, show you on the other side. There's a round circle here, which will go into this peg. And you do that for either side, and the arm goes in like so. And then go on to the other side here. Same thing. Make sure that's in. And the camera's focused. So move that in and up. And the arm moves around. So then take the front, kind of move it right over the hands just like that. Make sure they're pushed up in there. And then take the back portion and move these out of the way. And this actually snaps down at the bottom, so it holds in place. This little doohickey here, fold it back in, and these go back. And there he is in truck mode. So for truck mode, he looks really decent. Let's see if I can look at these arms. There we go. Arms up a little bit more. He kind of rolls. Mine only kind of rolls because these are fairly tight wheels here. The back ones are not super tight. Although I do have an issue with mine, so I don't know if it's on every one of them. But you see it's really loose. It just pops right off. What happened is, if you can see that, it didn't quite complete the mold, the plastic right here. So the plastic didn't fully go into the mold when it was injected in there, so that caused the half of the snap to not work. But it stays on relatively okay. So that's something to look out for. But you do have all of this hanging off the bottom, and I wish they could have done something about that, because it just feels really lazy to me to have to do that. I mean, they could have done something different with the arms. There's a ton of space up in here. They really could have done something different. In this mode, what you could do, you could take this little piece here and peg it right into the side. Just like that. One of the cool things is on the part where to tow the cars, he does have a little extra wheel, so it does kind of roll, which is neat. I haven't really successfully got him to actually tow anything yet, though. It just comes right off. Okay, let's have some vehicle comparisons. So here he is, next to the Generations. So you see they're about the same size in truck mode, so this guy does expand pretty nicely. Here he is next to the Generation 1, and he looks very, very nice to Generation 1. Just a very great update to the character. And Wheeljack. Next to Earthrise, Wheeljack. And Siege Prowl. So for some final thoughts on this guy. And yeah, so overall, he's a decent figure and will look fantastic on the shelf. His posability is fairly decent. He is a little light. Like I was going over all this hollow bit here. His whole entire chest is hollow. The inners of the arms are hollow. Kind of an awkward joint here in the shoulder. He's got a very nice head sculpt. Overall, the look of him is very, very good. I wish, though, he was a little bit more solid feeling, a little more hefty. The plastic feels light. He does feel like he'll break easily. The tolerances on the transformation could be a little better. I do think the transformation, he does sort of transform a lot like the what we've seen from Combiner Wars. And that's disappointing to me. I think the engineering could be much better. That said, I do suggest picking him up if you are looking for, this character. And, Trailbreaker will most likely be coming out, even though I don't believe he's been announced yet, but Trailbreaker will be most likely coming out. They're not going to just have one use of this mold. I could do without the battle damage, though. I think this was unnecessary, and it doesn't really fit in with Earthrise, because we haven't gotten battle damage on any of the other characters in Earthrise. It didn't need to be on this one. I don't know if they just added it because maybe they needed some extra paint colors to justify the price, but I don't think it was a necessary addition to the character, because I don't think it actually adds anything. It just makes it look like the old vintage one was scuffed up and used. And, you spend your time looking for a vintage one that's not scuffed up and used, and then you get a nice new shiny figure that has good articulation, and it looks good on yourself, and it looks like he's been in a few play accidents. So please, I hope you like this review. Like, subscribe, hit the downvote button if you have to, and I'll see you next time.